in the form of LLP. So what could be done is to create an entity. Now you have thought and you have strategized, okay, let's go with the private limited or probably be the LLP, the proprietorship, or any form of entity that is suitable to your, your sort of company, your sort of strategy, or the move that you have already thought of. So what the next step is, you need to contact your CA, the chartered accountant, or the company secretary. They are the one who open companies, in the form of technicalities, going on the website or filing the paperwork, etc. Because we having come from engineering background, probably we may not be knowing what exactly needs to be done in the form of paperwork, or in the form of the compliances, the government compliances and the rules. And there are a lot of things that goes that, as a student, we might not be knowing, or probably as a professionals. For example, if someone is passed out from the college and he has done a professional experience of 4 years, 5 years, 6 years down the line, and later on they think that let's open our own company, they probably might not be having the idea of how to open a company, in the sense that they know, okay, let's go with LLP, let's go with private limited, but how to open that? They contact the CAs, the role then and there itself, the role of CA and the company secretary, CS, comes into the picture. So technicality, because this is their work, and we all contact CAs, CS, company secretaries, and they open the companies. They go on the Ministry of Corporate Affairs websites, they fill out the forms, they'll ask you the details of your PAN card, Aadhaar card, or whichever is the relevant documents they need it from you, the company name, the three company name suggestion or the four company name suggestion, regards to whichever is available on the website. For example, if the company name is taken away, your CA might suggest, no, sir, this company name is not available. This name is already been registered by someone else. So you have to, or there are set of regulations what name you can do. For example, can you add India in your company name, or can you add Bharat or Republic, or these kind of, there are multiple kind of compliances or rules, to say so in a layman language, which comes into the picture. So CA and CS, this is their job. That's why they are chartered accountants, registered chartered accountants, and this is their, apart from the multiple other roles as a chartered accountant or as a company secretary in regards to the compliance. So this is one of their major roles, to open a company and manage all the compliances, etc., how to fill the form. And so all the work is taken care of by the CA. You just tell them, sir, I want to open a company, and this is the company name that we are suggesting. And if the company name is available, they'll come back to you and say, congratulations, this name is available. So they'll register your name then and there itself. And these days, within, I believe, if everything goes well, your documentation and name availability, I think it takes just within a week, your company will be open in terms of registration on Ministry of Corporate Affairs. After that, banking, your creation of bank account and things, and a lot of the things comes into the picture. So this is something you need to strategize if you want to open. So if you want to go ahead and you're thinking that, okay, we'll have a startup registered under a DIP scheme, which Government of India offers. So I think one of the major two vehicles of the entity formation is private limited or the LLP part. Proprietorship is something that is very, I would say, very constrained to something that is very shopkeeper, or any kind of trading activity. If you want to go ahead, then you probably can. It's much more simpler in terms of managing compliance rules, and even after opening the company, regularly every year you have to file your taxes and lot of the things. So in terms of CA and CS, they will manage. You need to collaborate with your CAs regularly. They will update you, sir. The annual filing date is coming, and you need to file the paperwork. So CA and CS will be in touch with you. So just you are just a Google away. Just Google the good CA company or a CA nearby you. Contact them, call them, and probably you can just fill out an inquiry after landing on their website. You just fill out the forms and fill out your details that we are interested in opening up a company. They'll call you once you have entered your email and all your contact details, including your phone number, mobile number, etc. They'll reach out to you. You'll explain, ma'am, this is our strategy. We want to go ahead with LLP private limited. Or in fact, if you are not sure, if you want to go ahead with private limited, LLP or OPC or any other form of entity formation, you can always discuss with your CA and CS. They can jolly well, sort of explain you, guide you which entity formation suits you best as per your strategy or business strategy that you might have, shared with them with the CA or CS. So that is one part of it. They can guide you if you are not sure if you want to go ahead with the private limited or the LLP part. So that is the one part. Once you have established, or once you have registered your company, because it takes around a week. Within a week, your company is live. You can check it on Ministry of Corporate Affairs website. Your company will be live, and you'll be, your name is registered. And after that, you can start with the trademark part, the registration part. I'm sure many of us have seen that R, or the TM part over the if I to speak of Microsoft. I'm sure many of us have seen that R or TM written over on the logo part. So TM is
It's
a trademark. Yeah. So that is something, that is, no one else can use your trademark. That is your trademark. That's your property. The legal property as a brand owner. So that would be your own brand. So CA can help you in claiming that trademark part as well. So that is something, if you go and think that that our idea can be copied, or our name can be having, from the strategy point of view, our similar name or exact name can be copied by our potential competitors, because idea could be, because our business idea, or anything that could be unique to you, or you can name your business as per your business strategy, which you think that our strategy is quite unique to our name, and you keep the names as if, after after deliberating, after contemplating, or after brainstorming a lot of things, and you think that that can be copied by someone else or imitated by someone else. So TM and R, having TM and R is something that is, you can, that is your intellectual property in legal language to say. So that is your intellectual property. If I go ahead, for example, these days, if I claim, for example, if I take off any brand name, for example, if I take, say, Paytm, I'm sure it will be a registered trademark of the Paytm, of course, the Paytm directors or the owners. So I cannot copy their, the logo, or any kind of their representational element of their logo. So that is under um their classes. So in, again, in trademark or our part, that registered or trademark part. So there are multiple classes. For example, if your business is in agriculture, and if you are having a trademark in your agriculture classes, so there are just 32 or 36 classes your CA will advise you. So these classes are as per sectors. For example, in agriculture, trade, or in publishing, or any kind of business, the online part, or the retail, or the commerce, e-commerce. So there are multiple sections, or multiple classes that are divided according to this thing, are the sectors or industry, which industry and which sectors your business would fall into. So if you are claiming that your Paytm comes under the financial tech, fintech, and your business also comes into fintech, and so you cannot copy Paytm logo element. But if uh, your business comes into agri-tech, so if you are trying to imitate the logo of Paytm probably, and if the trademark part is not comes under, does not fall under the classification of the classes that is trademarked by the owners and directors or the shareholders of Paytm, you can go into that class, and you can just sort of have that kind of logo if you want to. Why would you have, or why would you copy the logo in the first place? But as part of strategy, or knowingly or unknowingly, if you have it, then there won't be any problem. But these companies, what they do, they registered in all the classes, so that they are safe. So it depends on the strategy, how do you want to go with. But at the same time, it takes money, because in the registration part for every classes, there's a different pricing, different charges. If you want to go ahead and want to sort of have a trademark in all the classes, so the pricing would increase as far as the increase of classes would go ahead. So it depends. So again, your CA and CS will definitely advise you on all those aspects. So
so
in this,
so
sorry, yeah.
True that for private limited we have to pay a hefty price to get that extension name.
Again, it depends. If you it depends on having a name. A registration, the pricing would be same, but if you talk of extensive pricing, it depends on booking your domain name on GoDaddy. If you'll go on GoDaddy and if you'll try to figure out that you want to register your GoDaddy ka domain name for your website registration, and if it is generic, then pricing would vary. But if you want to something, for example, very specific, for example, if you want to have xyzindia.com, that is something that India word itself, that is very premium. So the domain name comes under premium category, and they might charge you in lakhs or probably in crores as well. I have seen the pricing. It goes in very hefty, very in colossal amount. So again, it depends on what sort of. So before I would suggest you, before finalizing the company name, always figure out whether the domain name exists or not. For example, you want to register a company name, for example, XYZ Private Limited. What you do before contacting your CA and CS for registration of a company, I suggest you to go on GoDaddy and check whether that domain name is available. So, for if you have thought of XYZ Private Limited, I'm sure that you would want to have that domain name in or the website name as a xyz.com. So, it's always better to check the name of the website if that website name is available or not, because there won't be any point that you are registration your you want to go ahead with your registration of the company name as an xyz.com, XYZ Private Limited, and you are not getting the registration as a domain name xyz.com. So there's a mismatch, and probably so you want to look out from all the 360-degree perspective of having a company formation and forming a company from registration aspect of it. So that is, a brief overview of the company formation, how you want to, probably go, and so that is something in terms of technicality. So that is just a strategy part. I probably, advised you how to, keep the name and what sort of elements or what sort of aspects that you need to keep in your mind before contacting your CA or CS. So as far as technicalities go, of course, your CNCS will advise you, sir, I want your Aadhaar, I want your PAN, besides a lot of the documents that they might ask you. These days, it is easier, of course, it requires just Aadhaar, PAN, your signature, etc. They would advise you, because back in 2016, I formed my company and it took around not more than a week. Everything went very smooth, and it's like, because ease of doing business and a lot of things government is taking care of, so that there is an ease of doing business for entrepreneurs, and there shouldn't be a lot of time or a lot of efforts going into making registering a company. So by that, there is an effect on GDP as well. So that's why there's a lot of effort from the government side as well coming into the picture. You must have seen that these days ease of doing business, India is ranking good these days from 133. Back in 2014 we have come in top 60, if I'm not mistaken. So we have been climbing up the ladder in ease of doing business. So it's like relatively easier these days to register a company. So this was just an overview of having a registration of the company and how to register a company.
So, sir, is there any disadvantage of like not registering in company and still working with that company name? Like I am from business, my father is from business background,
Mhm.
and he has a company, but it is not registered, and still it has a GST firm and everything. So
No, I'm pretty sure your father's company must be registered. It could be a proprietorship, or it could be an LLP, private limited, or any other form of entity.
it's
I mean,
like name and company. It's written like Pukhraj Income.
so it must be a proprietorship, no? So you'll ask your father. He will
Yes,
tell you that
exactly.
probably it's a proprietorship, because without it must be a registered entity. So it could not be a company, as I mentioned. It's not. It could not be a private limited or LLP. It could be a proprietorship for simplicity. A lot of traders and a lot of you know these kind of activities, shopkeepers, and you have to have any some form of entity to do a business. it's not possible to carry out a business because you have to have your GST registration. Regardless of any form of entity, you have to have your GST registration to pay out your GST and taxes. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure this must be a proprietorship. You'll ask your dad, and probably he would say you that it could be in the form of proprietorship or in any form of entity. So that cannot be possible. Probably your father's company may not be having a company name that in the form of that. Sorry, not company name, but the website domain probably they may not be having. So it depends. So company having a domain name or the website name, it's a prerogatory. It's not a something compliance or a strict rule that you have to have. But to pay out taxes, it's really important. You need to register with the government on the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So proprietorship is something that is, or any other form of entity that is very important to have any form of entity. So that was it. So moving forward, that was the company formation part of you. So you need to contact your CA and CS in form of how to do the paperwork, etc. Because they'll be the one who will be filling out all the form, etc. For example, you go to a private bank and not the government one, right? So who fill out the form? Like, do you fill out the form yourself or the bank fill out the forms? So you just sign here and there, and will fill out the form in the private bank. I'm not talking of the government bank. So similarly, it goes like that. CA would take care of all of the things. You just CA would need your sign. That's it, and they'll do all the part. So they fill out the forms, etc. Relevant registration on the website or the on the government website, or because now these days interaction with government happens, on the website only. You don't have to go to government offices to fill out until and unless it is something a very specific issue. All the registration parts, happens through government website or the portals of the government, etc. That CA and CS they would know jolly well because this is their job, and as per their experience, they can jolly well register your company. So as a brief overview, let's move forward. How to
Sir,
sort of yeah, can
yes,
tell
sir.
me.
So I have just one doubt, if you can
Yeah,
clear.
yeah.
Sir, for example, sir, this is a real thing that is like happening with me. That the company name that I have selected is already taken by
Hmm.
another foreign entity. Okay,
Hmm.
but I am planning to put under the LLP, whereas they are in the private limited. So is
Hmm.
it possible that we both can coexist? Like they are not from India, so and also they are not like a LLP registered company. They are private limited. So
Yeah, but again, in that case, again, that situation comes, that I told you right now. For example, you probably might get the name that, okay, I'll advise you, go to MCA, just type on Google Ministry of Corporate Affairs, right?
yes, sir.
On the Google link, when you'll go to Ministry of Corporate Affairs website, that Google first link would uh, take you to the Ministry of Corporate Affairs website, and on the website only you'll see something on a link. There would be a multiple link over there, and you'll see over there that they will find a name karke, there must be some option, right? So when you'll go there, find a name, so you can jolly well see. So that India, that foreign company you are talking about, is the company registered in India as a private limited?
So they are registered in like Poland, but they are not registered in. It's like a local company in Poland, whereas
Mhm.
my company is in India, like going to be in India after I register.
No,
So they are
but
not
that
registered in India.
they're not registered in India, no? Then there,
Yes.
there is not a problem. Then you can jolly well go and register. It always depends if the company name is available in India or not, because we don't
Okay,
have
sir.
to take care about that global thing like Poland
Absolutely,
and
sir.
then Korea. So if in India if it is not taken, then again it's not a problem. Then you can jolly well go ahead and
Yes, sir.
get your registration done. But again, it depends. Your CA and CS would advise you. They would check, and the checking part you can also do that on your side. You can go to MCA website. MCA means that Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and you can check it without if the company name is available or not. So find a name. If you'll go there, if you'll enter your potential name that or the probable name that or your wishful name that you are want to looking forward to, just type the name and just enter in on it. So it would throw that that name is not available. If that company name is already there, the list would be there. The list would throw out that okay, these companies are registered with the company name that you entered on the search bar. So it would come out. So it would go like that way. So you can yourself just search on the MCA website if the company name is available. I'll give you a scenario. For example, there's a company, for example, Terry Exports Private Limited. For example, I'm not sure if the company is available or not. For example, some company name is already registered, but my company is Terry Exports LLP part, right? So I can always go ahead and register my company as an LLP, or because in private limited it's a different, in LLP is a different part. But again, why would I go with with a company name which is or the entity name which is already registered as a private limited or in any other form of entity? Because they would be in, if I go and sort of check my company domain name, because I want to have my own website also. Again, if I go and check if the company name is not available, then there's a mismatch again. That company registration you can get it, but on the website part, your domain name you might not be having it. You want to keep as a different domain name, but there would be a mismatch between the company name or the company website name. So there would be a mismatch again. So you have to think on that front as well. Are
Yes,
you ready to go with the different company domain name or the website name and the registration name? So you have to think on that aspect as well. That is very important. So that's why you have to discuss all these things from the multiple perspective with your CA and CS. That's why the idea is having these discussion with your, and if you go yourself and check on the MCA part, you will get the bit of picture. Okay, this company name is available or not, and again you have to just go on another tab and go on to godaddy.com, and you will just type your your domain name that you want to have it, the company, that website name, that domain URL name. If the name is available, it would throw out. If it is not available, then GoDaddy would say there is already been registered or taken by someone else. So you can just always research on your own, and then probably go to your CA and CS. They will advise you in more advanced detail in form of a lot other details. So that is a brief overview. You already have it. How to conceptualize, how to picturize, how to strategize in the form of the company formation, entity formation, the branding, the name part, and a lot of the things. So let's moving forward. Let's keep going. I hope I have covered on the entity part. And if there's any question, just let me know. In the meanwhile, again, if you have any question, just raise your hand or just come in between, and we'll just have an interaction. So let's just keep going. Okay, so you have thought about your company name, etc., and you probably want to go ahead with your startup and you want to have your own business. You already have thought of your company name and company domain name on GoDaddy and on MC as well. You have spoken to your CA and CAS. Now you want to enter into your business startup. So on a brief note, you just need to have motivation. Why do you want to go in business? Is it the excitement part? What are the motivation? Or is it the FOMO? Fear of missing out. You think that a lot of your friends are entering into business, their own business, or they are having their own startups, or you think left out. So there's a FOMO. That's why you want to have a startup. So it's really important. You understand and you question yourself, why do you want to go in the business or in the startup in the first place? Is it the money? Is it the FOMO? Or just the excitement? Or just as a part of trend, as everyone is going into the business, everyone is entering into the business, you want to be your own boss? There could be a n number of things. Just write it down and think and ask yourself, why do you want to be in business in the first place? So that is very important, because you want to be in business and you are not clear why you want to be, then there could be a problematic in as a student right now, sitting in college, thinking, having a good time, and thinking high that you want to have your own business. Absolutely wonderful, I'm not denying the fact, but at the same time you have to be very pragmatic, very practical. Why do you want to be in business? Why do you want to start a startup in the very first place? Because if your why is clear, that would take you, the road is very, you'll see that going ahead, moving forward, the road in startup or any professional journey, of course, it would be full of struggle, full of hard work, and full of whatnot. This is something, all our teachers say, all our seniors say, all our parents say. Of course, this is not new, I'm saying to you, but let's accept the fact it is indeed. So once your why is clear, your journey would be, I would say, a bit smoother, be let alone keep aside, a lot of struggle come, so many problems come, etc., etc. That would come indeed. You cannot stop that. So all would you'd be very, energetic, and you'll be very positive. Fight with them and just, come across and come out successful. Fighting with your problem. So that is it. So that's why if you are no your why is not clear and you face a problem, arey yaar, like this is a problem, and you feel, demotivated, then probably the idea is you'll stop, and you'll just come out, and you so that your why is clear. If your why is clear, you'll be able to your energy would come out from inside you to fight. Okay, because your why is clear, you know why you want to be in business. So once your why is clear, then again, it becomes wonderful part. Okay, so coming on to the ideation side, you think you have a wonderful idea. It's like I have a fantastic idea. You're brainstorming in the hostel or, online these days. You are you are talking among your friends, and you are having discussion with your relatives, parents. Probably you think, you have a fantastic idea. Wonderful, go ahead. That's really great. At least you are thinking. Congratulations. So this is the journey. So from there and there itself, your startup journey begins. Okay, so your idea, so you think that your idea is fantastic, your idea is amazing, your idea is exceptional. Really, how do you think your idea is exceptional, your idea is amazing, your idea is fantastic? You think your idea is fantastic, your idea is amazing, your idea is exceptional. That could be disruptive. So how do you say that it is how do you, sort of, because me also coming from the engineering background, because before my masters, as in my introduction Naveen said, before that I completed my engineering degree back in 2011. So we all as an engineering, we need to, support how it is, because in an engineering, to reach out to a conclusion, we all have to, think how it is. Sorry. So we all have to think, how it is fantastic, how it is amazing, how it is exceptional. So answering your how is something very important. So again, coming on to the answering your how question, how to answer that, how do you think, how do you brainstorm? So wonderful thing going is research side. So how do you do the research? So the research are of two types. One is secondary research, where you go into the Google part, and you just start entering your idea. Would that be successful? How is the industry? How are the trends? For example, you want to enter into any part of industry. For example, say, finance side. You have some idea. Okay, let's take this, as a digital, or let's just keep this as let's make an app out of it, and let's just solve a problem, because startup is all about solving some problem. It could be a social, it could be a business, it could be economical, it could be private, it could be for an individual, or anything as a mass. So we just need to think out, you are solving a problem, but how that your idea would be solving a problem. So the wonderful thing to do is research, that I always do, and I always advise whenever I'm just advising people on to, how to carry out on the research part. So how to do that research is something that is secondary. You go, and you are you are reading an articles, you are reading journals, you are reading a book on it, you are reading you are googling it out on probably on Google Scholar. You are reading papers, journals, articles, or YouTube videos you are watching. That is research, on your problem side, how your problems is being solved by your idea. So that is one way of looking at it. That is the secondary research, and another one is the primary research, where you speak to someone who has the first-hand knowledge of that industry or the trends, who is already part of the trend. For example, if you ask me as an from export side, or something from the nutrition side, on export side, where we come into, where we do business in the nutrition industry, and if you are asking me how the industry is, can we do this, can we do that, probably you are doing your primary research. Again, you are finding out what's happening in the industry, and what's going on into that part of the world, etc. You are talking to the relevant people who are part of the industry, who are part of that trends, who are already working into that problem or working into that industry, or who are making things happening into in that relevant part of the problem solving, that you want to be into that part. So that is something that would become as a primary research. So mixture of both the primary and secondary research will definitely would take you to some kind of conclusion. Okay, boss, this is something, that idea could be exciting, and we'll just move forward. And it could be economical, it could be financially well, and it could relevantly, so it's not a just one time activity, guys. Like, it's not a 5 minute activity, it's a permanent activity. You just keep on doing things. You just every now and then you just keep researching, at every stage of your startup journey. It's not something like 10 years back, or 1 year back probably you just thought of an idea and you researched it well, and now 1 year down the line you don't know because you have researched it then. It's like at every problem, because technology and times, businesses, these are the changing times that we are living in. Tomorrow probably when we'll wake up, probably you'll have some different kind of technology, taking over all over the world. You'll have AI and analytics and big data, cloud. These are something, that is something that's already going on. It's not something that is the next big thing. It's already a current thing. So these are the changing times. So whenever in your startup you'll face, every now and then you'll face a problem. So to how to solve that problem is something, again, you'll go back to your research. You research that at that point of time, the conclusion of that research would be this. Okay, let's do the research from this perspective because the problem again is changed. So again, you'll keep on researching, you'll keep talking to the problems, your customer, even the stakeholder of the ecosystem. There's an ecosystem of your startup. You have your customers, you have the problem, and you have your suppliers, where you have the problem solvers, where you have the whatnot. I mean, it's the overall ecosystem and the stakeholders of your startup world,
So,
including yours. Yeah.
so during the primary research, isn't there the risk of sharing your like idea with someone who has the potential to do right now, and you will take like time? So, so
Yeah.
he should try out earlier and or
Mhm.
something like that.
Yeah, but no, absolutely, I'm with you. Absolutely, you just mentioned the absolutely. You just hit out on the nail, or because this is something that has to be very strategic. When you are reaching out to people, you are not disclosing your idea. Okay, boss, this is my idea, and probably you have to be strategic in terms of, because if you are googling it out, then again you are not revealing your idea to anyone else. The problem is, as you mentioned in the primary research, when you're reaching out to the people, you have to be strategic. You are asking about the industry, you are asking about the trends, you know is that problem can be solved with the technology, etc. That overall idea that you have, that is the core of your the business or the startup idea, you're not revealing to anyone. That is for sure, of course. But the
Because when I tried to share my idea to an experienced CA, so like I didn't tell my idea first, but later on he tried asking like, you tell me the idea so I can guide you properly. So at that time I have to say about my idea. So
yeah.
that's the issue.
No, absolutely. So you have to be very strategic. So when you are reaching out to your CA or anyone, always you have to have your 4 or 5 questions, or any number of questions ready in your mind, right? Always prepare questions first what you are going to ask, because if you are going unprepared, you probably might not get the questions in your back of your mind what to ask. And even if you would ask the question, probably they may not be relevant. And after the meeting with your CA or anyone, you would feel that, okay, I have had the meeting with the CA or anyone, any person. You probably might think that that meeting wasn't very fruitful, wasn't very successful. I mean, I didn't get any points out from that meeting. So that could be the another scenario. So that's why it's really important you prepare the questions beforehand wherever you're going. I mean, it's a very beautiful practice, in fact, to be honest. I mean, professional world where you will be entering into the professional world. So whenever you are having a meeting with your customers, clients, or your shareholders, your investors, or anyone, so you have to have your questions beforehand ready, or any kind of preparations, or any kind of elements, bullet points, that okay, these are the points that I would be sort of discussing with my any person I would be having a meeting with. So that is really important. So the idea, coming back to your question again, it's not something that you are revealing your overall idea or the whole idea to someone. It's just that be strategic, be tactful, don't reveal your idea. Outside of that, yeah, of course you can idea, because idea is you have to ask the problem, the industry, how is the industry trend is, how the problem is. So once you'll have the research, it's not just from the one person, just from the multiple persons. So once you'll have that thoughts from the multiple person, you will definitely have a kind of sense, okay, this idea may work, but this idea may not work. So that is something, you'll just have to be very tactful and very strategic in terms of reaching out to people when you are carrying out your primary research. In secondary research, again, when you are reading a book, you are reading a journal or whatever, there won't be any harm of sort of revealing of your idea until unless your Google account is hacked. If someone is tracking you, of course.
So like if someone get an idea of my like whatever idea I'm using and he copies it, so is there any legal claim that I can do like
No,
something
but
regarding
yeah, but beforehand, if you are discussing your idea, what you can do, you can just have an NDA sign, which is a non-disclosure agreement. This is how sort of in professional world also. If I want to speak, or if I have some idea, right, and if I want to discuss with you, what I'll do, you are a professional, you are a lawyer, you are a CEO, or anyone, any part of the ecosystem, or any stakeholder into the overall ecosystem. I want to have a discussion with you. What I'll do, I'll just have an NDA signed with you. NDA is non-disclosure agreement. Just Google it out. You will get to know, in detail what exactly it is. So, in as that part of that agreement, you will be secured. If your idea is leaked, then you can, go legal, and you can just, file, and you can just sue that guy, or anyone, that my idea is leaked, and this is, I can sue you for n number of dollars, n number of rupees, etc. So that's an again a legal journey that would be. So you'll be secure. So that is a professional way to have a discussion with someone if you want to really discuss your idea in detail.
okay, sir.
NDA is something that in professional world we say it as an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. For example, if I want to share my data with you, for example, if I have a data, you are my consultant, right? If I'm going to you, I'm reaching out to you, you are consultant, because you'll give me a consultation, and I have to give you some sort of data or anything. I want to show you something so that you can further give me a consultation. But at the same time, I'll be bit uh, sort of scared at some point of time that I am just sharing my data with consultant. He might leak the data, he might share the data with some of my potential competitors, or he can use that data to sort of as a competitor, he can become my potential competitor. If you'll sign an NDA with the consultant or anyone, just to say consultant in this example, so you'll be safe, you'll be much more safer. Although it's not something that he won't do that, probably as an unprofessional he want to sort of lure that data or something. You cannot, of course, prevent him doing so, but of course, but that NDA is something that would be because that potential monetary value would be written in that NDA. If that data is leaked, that data or that business idea or that potential idea is worth rupees this much dollars, this much rupees, so you are liable to pay me that rupees to me because you have leaked my data. So that is something that would be part of these agreements. So you can get these agreements then again with your help of your CA and lawyer, probably legal help, or in part of your e-cell. I'm pretty sure you can get contacts, or your faculties, your professors might help you in that regard. So that is one way of reaching out to someone else if you want to discuss your idea with someone else. Yeah. Hope did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, so moving forward, well, you all must have read some beautiful lines, etc. Future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams, etc. So this is just an saying, just want to show. I mean, no, I mean yes, but again, no, because again, coming back to practicality, sayings are good. Again, I just want to speak on motivations. Motivation is just for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or probably a day, or probably a week, not more than that. Motivation is something as a student, Probably we think, motivation is important, motivation is necessary. Of course, indeed it is. But the idea behind motivation is it will keep you motivated because these days, in YouTube world, there are a lot of YouTube videos, etc. I'm feeling low. Let's see some YouTube videos. Again, wonderful. That's not a problem. But in startup journey, it's something. It's a never-ending journey. There's no, you could have a milestone, of course, but in company, like for example, Infosys, Tata, it was built, 150 years back. Is there any end? Of course, again, for the next 50 years, company would run. I mean, of course, companies are people come, people go, of course, but companies, startups, or the entities, they won't go anywhere. I mean, the motivation is just for 10, 15, 30 minutes a week, a month, not more than that. Motivation, won't go with you for a life, for sure. So it is the practicality. The more the practical you are, the important it is, and more the importance of your problem you would understand. Because in motivation, you may not feel the core of your problems or why it is important, how to solve that problem. That analytical mind. Motivation always covers your analytics of your mind, but practicality always uncover your analytics. And to succeed in business, analysis is really, really important. So again, coming on to the research part, research, it's really important. So starting a startup again is your just to sum up, it's the researching your idea. A good mix of primary and secondary research helps in your early stage, so that you understand if the idea, if you are going in the right direction or not, or something. You probably might have multiple confusions, multiple doubts. Always go back to the basics. You must have heard, that if your time is not right, go back to the basics. If you're struggling, go back to the basics of the research side where you started from. Okay, that was my idea. Will this not work? Okay, let's go to the basics where have your research from the fresh view, from different perspective probably, and you'll see that okay, you'll get the direction. Okay, you'll get the answer. Should I go ahead or not? Put that idea would succeed or not. So second part is the implementation part, the operation part. Once you have researched your idea, would be your implementation. How to implement, how to start the operations. Because once you have developed your website, once you have registered your startup, your business, everything is well. You have sort of hired someone, or you have collaborated with your friends, or your friends are on board to work with you. Second would be the operations, how to sort of solve that problem, the core of the problem of your business idea. For example, if you thought of solving a problem, let's make something digital, that there's a problem and let's make something digital to solve a problem. So that would be an operations, like you making an app, and you just you're researching it out where the problem lies into it. Where is a technical problem, or is it a consumer behavior? Why consumer is not coming onto your app? Consumer do not like your solution. If they are not liking your solution, then of course you'll again go to have potential consumers or customers. Why they are not liking? Again, that's a primary research, guys. You are asking your potential customers or your current customers why you are not liking it, or why you are liking it. Again, both the questions. The more insights you have, it the more understanding you would absorb, that okay, how we can make it better, how you can better it. Because once you have started it, how you can better it, and you'll see that things are going into the right direction. And you'll see again, when I'm saying things are moving in the right direction, again you will see that okay, another set of problems coming into your hand. It's all about solving a problem. Your business journey, startup journey, or any part of professional journey, it's always about solving a problem. For example, in fact, in your student days, if I take an example, whole semester you haven't studied, and next on the night before you all are studying, you are solving a problem, because next day you have exam. There's a problem, no? Because you haven't studied. And again, you have been studying all through your semester, all through your 3 or 4 months, 5 months before your exams. That wasn't easy. Of course, you had a problem, you have a breakup, you have a girlfriend boyfriend issue. Overall, if you see, that's a problem you are tackling. So again, it's all about solving a problem, how you are solving a problem, right? So it's all about the commitment, the seriousness, the commitment. When I say commitment, it's not the relationship commitment, but yeah, you can think of from that perspective. It's not a teenager wala commitment, you are here and you are there. It's that commitment that okay, you have to be committed with your business idea, startup journey. Like how do you sort of solve a problem, keep the customer in the center of your business problem, and how you solve a business problem for that customer. Because at the beginning or probably end of the day, you are there in a startup journey or business for your customer. If there's no customer, you are, I mean, what's the point of having a startup? Of course, be it socially or financially or from any reason, from the excitement or from any part of the reason you might have for to start a company. If you do not have a customer, once you have the customer, you'll see everything coming all together. You'll have employees, you'll have sort of stakeholder, you'll have offices. In the start, of course, you'll be working from home, working from a setup that might not be very healthy to look at, or probably you might not be, because it will always start from the beginning. Beginnings are not uh, very, how would I say, very flashy or very beautiful. It always starts from it always very gloomy. Something is it's really hard to start. So that's it's always be very hard and sort of. So again, as I mentioned, the problem would keep on coming. So you have to do is improvement. So once you have figured out, okay, there's a technical glitch, you'll be improving, or you'll see that there's a problem with the customers. You'll be improving something that is not relevant to your customers, or something that is you are offering, but still they're not that offering is not good enough for your customers. It could be any element of your business journey, any element. It's not just an app. Creating an app is not a startup or business, guys. Creating an app is how you are solving a business, how you are solving a problem, and digitally you are solving a problem. How good your app is, how not your good as how not good your app is. Again, it's an important element, but it's not just an important or not just an all in all or a wholesome business that you have developed. It's just an important element, because digitally it's how you are reaching out to your customer. There could be a wonderful or brilliant app, but there could be a problem with the marketing side. Again, you have to improve the marketing. You have to figure out what's wrong, what's wrong going ahead in the marketing. Once that is solved, there could be another a number of problems that could be coming on your way. So how you are solving the problem is something that will always, someone who is always leading the road with the problem solving, how better he is at the problem solving, would always come out successful in the the startup journey, in specific and in general, of course, in any part of any journey. So how do you solve the problem is, again, you go back to research. You'll research what's happening at that point of time. I researched that, goes back in 2000 or whatnot. For example, 6 months back, I researched this, but now the time has changed. Say 6 months, after that 6 months, the new technology has come in, or the consumer is liking the new technology. Why the consumer is preferring the new technology, or any kind of element, the new marketing, or the new website, or the new app where you are marketing, or you are launching your the new platform. Again, you have to research why you are not, because for example, your research is perfect at this point of time, but your research may not be good enough, say 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 years, 6 year, 10 years, probably, or a number of years. So you all have to improve and iterate down the line. For example, Tata started back in 1850. I'm pretty sure if you'll imagine, just take a 2 minute to imagine, they started in 1850. There was no website, there was no app. So how they were problem solving back then. Again, they were into constructions, they were into steel, etc., whatnot. But these days, factories are digitalized, because there's a demand of the time. Again, had they not changed themselves, they thought, okay, let's be in that world of our 1850s, and let's not digitize and things like that, because you're getting data from a number of sources, and you can use that data to improve your further offerings, or to improve your business, because you'll increase your efficiency, etc. So if they are not doing that, again, they would have left behind. We probably might not be knowing what data is, had they not have changed down the line till date. And again, they are changing. They are, if you are up to the news or reading news, they are entering into the digital world as well, or climate change, etc. So it's all about improving how you are improving your business or how you are entering the new junctures. So it's really important to iterate. So that would be a just a brief overview of starting a startup. Guys, again, I would say the research. Okay, so this is, we have already covered. So there are two types of startups. Again, in a brief overview, I would say the new market one is that is not tested. For example, if I say let's make a startup in e-commerce. E-commerce, it's already a tried and tested market. Again, I'm not saying it's bad. It's not good, but it could be you can just it could be a new market in the sense that you are adding an AI or probably with the technology with the new technology you are revolutionizing you are solving a problem. How do you say that it's a new market or the old market? How you're solving a problem, whether the problem is being solved earlier, and how, if you are also trying to solve a problem in the similar way, let's go with the Flipkart or Amazon way. Flipkart was started back in 2010, and if you are thinking that okay, let's make an app where which you'll connect all the retail shops, that is already been done, and the competition is huge. How you'll solve the problem so that your customers get an advantage? If you don't know that how, then again it's I don't know if it's not a relevant. How do you from the money side, from the profit side, it's really important how you'll make the revenue and how sustainable that revenue will be. When I say sustainable, would that be for 1 year only, for 6 months? After that, it would be dead. You have to think like it would be sustainable like Tata's, like if from 1850s to till date and to the upcoming future, would that be sustainable or not? You have to think in the new market or the existing market. Even if the existing market you want to go ahead and enter into the existing market, and for example you want to make an app in the e-commerce side. It depends how you are, how different you will be from Flipkart, from Amazon. It depends, So you can jolly well enter into existing market, but how you are solving a problem for your customer so that your customer gets happy, your customer gets an added advantage. Rather going to Flipkart or Amazon, your customer might come to your app and they'll buy from your app. Why? Could be a different marketing altogether. Whether it's sustainable or not, you have to think again. So it depends. You have to brainstorm why. If your why and hows are clear, then of course you'll see that you are sailing it in not so hard way. So coming on to the MVP, it's a minimum viable product. Whenever you are trying to create a product or trying to create a market or any sort of, if you want to test a market, always go with the minimum viable product, because as a startup, because we don't come from Tata's, Reliance, Birla, Ambani's, where we have sort of that big chunk of money to sort of go into that big bang way. So having start with the minimal constraints. It's really important you to have sort of MVP development. On the improvement side, it's minimum viable product. Just test it out whether your product is working or not. If it is working, invest money, make it better, hire some developers or contact your friends, or in any strategic way where you want to always think you are investing in there, how you are getting return out of it. So just be judicious, be strategic, because as a student we are not used to in terms of spending money that way in the business sense. So it's really important to go with the improvements in the with minimum viable development model, guys. So again, growth, once you have everything is done, you have your MVP, etc. Your product is ready to serve the market. So it's really important to have that scalable and the growth side of it. So that is something, once you have achieved the growth and you are helping solving the problems of the startup, etc. It could be from different perspective, from the marketing side, from the customer side, from the employee side. Your employees may not be happy. Probably your customers are happy, but your employees are not. So you have to figure out why employees are not happy. So it's the overall ecosystem you have to be taken care of. So that is it. So that was it, guys. So I'm open for questions and answers.
So,
So again, it's the Dipankar Talks podcast. You can just follow my podcast, and my email is this.
sir,
You can reach
actually,
out to
I heard your podcast, one of your podcasts on strategy and tactics with Paul, I guess.
Paul. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's around 2 months before I've heard it.
Okay.
So I was asking like when if it is a service based product or something like service it is there, and I'm providing service to people. So what if that app I have to create, it's gonna take an investment of around starting investment of around 2-3 lakhs, and
Mhm.
I don't have that money or something right now or like that. So how will I manage to start that?
Yeah, again, as I mentioned, may I get your name? I didn't get your name.
Ronak.
Yeah, Ronak. So Ronak, probably, for example, you mentioned that it would take around 2 to 3 lakhs. I mean, that's good that you have researched. I mean, first of all, that it would take 2 to 3 lakhs amount of money, right? But the question is again, you need to think that whether someone have you taken quotes from just one vendor, or have you reached out to multiple vendors and all they're seeing the one quote. I'm just trying to break out the answers into multiple segments, multiple perspectives. Probably, the first is we have to be cautious if the quote is right or not. Probably, if as a student, your vendor might be saying, it could take 2 to 3 lakhs, or probably, someone might be getting in, for example, 20, 30,000, or probably it may not be of that quality. But again, we have to be very strategic in terms of how we are building a product from the MVP perspective. As I recently mentioned, that MVP one. For example, you mentioned that it would take a hell lot of money. So what you can do, you can always collaborate with a friend, your developers. You can just have a networking from your friend side, or you can, as in your e-cell, you can provide you relevant platform that can you help me with the development of this app, or probably you can reach out to freelancers, or that could be, there's a minimum viable product. 2 to 3 lakhs, what I understand from you is something that is a very professional uh, vendor who is charging you this one. There's no harm, of course. We must reach out to professional vendors to make a wonderful product, of course. But to start with, as I mentioned, Ronak, it's really important. If you have a coding background, what you can do is you always can have start learning the coding, how to make a code, and probably you can just start learning, or have your friends on board, or your colleagues on board, or your acquaintance on board, that I'm working on this idea, can you just help me on the coding part, or can you just make me understand this classes, this clause, or etc., whatever, that coding part. So you'll see that things are happening little step. If you take it out, so you'll see that I'm not saying it is easy, of course. On third day, fourth day, you'll have your wonderful product ready with you. It takes time. So that is the beauty of the struggle. Without struggle, you won't learn. You reach out to your vendor, you'll pay 2 to 3 lakhs. Your vendor would give your product to you. But what is the other part of it? If you see the other aspect of it, you won't have that kind of learning. Had you have that, you reach out to anyone, or you thought of having to learn coding, or the technology that would require him to fit in to make that product. So it's really important to sort of have a 360-degree view of everything you could learn. Okay, you may not learn, you may not be good at it. You can have your friend on board. You may not have your friend, of course. Let's say your friend is not supporting you, or probably they might not know that coding as well. You can reach out to YouTube. You can learn yourself. Once again, you're not getting it, again you can reach out to a vendor who can make this app. But a minimum viable product app may not be as enough as someone who would take 2 to 3 lakh, but someone who can have you could someone who could make as a freelancer who can make in 20,000, 30,000. So there's a huge difference between 2 to 3 lakh, or 20, 30, or 40,000. So you can think that way. So you can have those kind of solutions. So that's why I'm saying minimum viable product. So
So
the kind,
like I am now from AI and data science branch. So
okay.
like I know coding and what to do, and I can also develop it that app on my own.
Hmm.
But still, guards are saying like that I what I will make will not be that great, and I will pay for that something
Yeah,
that.
no, no, that's why I'm saying you just make it. MVP is all about making a just a brief app, or there's no heavy UI or heavy element of it. What you are trying to think right now, Ronak, is that you want to be the best on the second day. Don't think like that. I mean, just to answer your question in specific, not in general. I'm trying to say, don't think you want to be best. Just think like how you can make an app, or how in the minimum resources, how you can make that app so that it solves your customer problem. Once you see that, because you haven't tested the, if that app would solve, okay, you are investing 2 to 3 lakh. How sure are you that after investing 2 to 3 lakh, that app would solve the problem of your customer, or your customer would be, coming onto your app and logging into your app and just buying your product or service or whatever? Are you sure? So
That's the publicity
if that
part where I have to create pamphlets and everything.
Mhm.
That 2-3 lakhs what I told was including everything like app also, advertisement also, and everything, registration okay, and all.
Yeah, but again, that's what I'm saying. It's really important to. I mean, I'm not sure because what sort of interaction you have had with your vendor, of course. But because at times what happen is vendors say something and they do something. I'm not saying your vendor is doing that, so I'm just doing that. So I'm trying to have 360-degree overview, or I'm trying to create multiple solution out of it. Why do I need to pay 2 to 3 lakhs? If my pocket allows, it's jolly well. Of course, I can go to a vendor. You boss, you just have my 2 to 3 lakhs, and another day or another week, just have my app back to me so that I can use it. That's what I'm trying to say. If your pockets don't allow, because as a student, our pockets is something, that's why I specifically mentioned minimum viable product is something that always helps you to sort of take your solution to something that is not conventional. That is something that is okay, that in Hindi, if may I say so, that jugaad. But jugaad is very important. If with jugaad, if you think that that is doable, with that traction, once you will see the traction, then you can reach out to investors or your friends, or then you can think upon to invest. Okay, if that in MVP, if I'm seeing the traction or the vision, I can see that customer will come within the MVP. If you create and you'll think that no man, the customer probably might not come, then it could be sort of, then you'll understand there's no point of investing 2 to 3 lakhs again. So it depends. First you go with the MVP side. If MVP is something that's, and ask yourself if that is doable or not. If that is doable, wonderful. You're getting the traction, etc. Growth. Then probably you can jolly well try to think of investing. You can negotiate with your vendor that 2 to 3 lakh is something that's very heavy for me. Can you just
No, sir.
negotiate?
I said that because it's a mindset of people that when you work in a professional way, they trust easily.
Mhm.
Right. So that's why
Yeah,
they
I
trust.
mean, yeah.
They try to go in that. But if
Mhm.
you work on a raw way, like not in a proper manner and trying just so they think that it's not just an idiot doing something like that.
No, no, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just MVP always helps, because on the very first stage, once you have gone through the MVP side and you are just, all the functions are there. I'm not saying it's very raw, and it's had a very minimal functions. You just put in all the functions, etc. And after putting in everything, you feel that it's not working. It's very raw. It's very stupid for the customers. Then you can go another perspective, having try to reach out to another vendor who probably can make this for 50,000. If you are thinking that this would definitely work, if I go full in fancy manner, in very professional app that can help me out, then of course then you must go out in that manner. Then if you are very sure, if you are very confident that this would work out, then of course that is something that it would always help you out. The idea is, if you do not have 2 to 3 lakhs, or your pocket do not allow, of course, then you always think of how to cut down on the cost. So that is another element of thinking on uh, that part of it, that how you cut down on the cost. Okay, you are investing 2 to 3 lakhs in this app, but you have to cut down the cost on another element. Then you can think on that way, because that is really important. We cannot cut down, or you can have MVP or raw side of it on that element. Let's say marketing, we can have our app very good, so that it will spread word of mouth or etc. So that we can cut down on marketing. Once the customer is coming back, we can have some jugadu kind of marketing, so that they can refer another customer, and we can have say coupons or etc. I'm just trying to give you an example. I'm not saying you do that. or we can go that way. If you are cutting down there and you can just want to invest here because that is very core. If you're not investing here, so it's your prerogative exactly.
Okay.
Hello, sir. I have a question. Sir, in the earlier slide, you talk about researching the market. Like the problem that I want to solve, I have to make sure I have did my proper research, asking the for example, empathizing with the customers, asking them whether it's really like a problem or not. But sir, many times there are the problems that even customer couldn't themselves know. Sir, let me give you an example. Sir, we all know about Rasna and Tang. Sir, this year Rasna made a turnover of I think around $18 million. But sir, I have never seen a person ever complaining that hope we could have something like that we can add to the water, because in our Indian families we have limbu pani, like just got a lemon, just put it on the water, add some sugar, that's it. But still Rasna came into the market. Like currently, even most of the home I visit, even my friends home, they give Tang and Rasna instead of giving Limbopan. So what was that thing Rasna was able to do that it completely changed the market, even though Rasna didn't solve any major issue. Like I am okay drinking Limbopan. It's not compulsory, or it is not a health benefit of drinking Rasna. So, sir, can you talk something regarding that? And
So before you answer the question, I would like to inform all attendees that you can post your questions in the chat box, or you can turn your mic on, and because the Q&A session has started. So yes, sir, you can carry on now.
Yeah. So I mean, what's your name? Sorry, can you just come?
sir, my name is Anup.
Anuj.
Anup, sir.
Anup.
A-N-U-P.
Okay,
Yes,
Anup. Yeah, Anup. Yeah, you have a wonderful question. So Anup, what Rasna did, they created the demand actually. What they did, they created a demand for it. So either you already have, I mentioned it was an old existing market or the new market. When Rasna came, they didn't exist a market in the sense there was no player as such. So they entered into a new market, right? For example, if I want to create a brand and I want to launch my own brand as a Rasna, it's an existing market. It's not a new market. So they entered into a new market and they created demand. So they think they might have researched. India has a good population. It's like 100 crores or like whatever the number is. So and they might have researched on the financials of the people. Okay, our product price range would be in this, and India's middle class is increasing. Financially, they are. So back in, I'm pretty sure they must have come in 90s or probably early 2000s. Rasna is something that is quite an old brand, so they must have entered in 90s. So they might have done research, etc., like where to segment, okay, and how to package it. Whether should we pack it into bottle or should we do it in sachet kind of little fruity packs. So they must have researched because bottle would be quite an expensive for the customers to reach out into a core part of the, or the remotest of the remote areas of the India, say remote areas where people do not have the buying power or very good purchasing power. So they created that small fruity pack so that people buy just for 5 rupees or whatever the rupees it would be, 10 rupees, and so that the sales would increase. So they increased, they created the demand. So they did the marketing. So they did not do the marketing with the health benefits, etc. So they probably might have hired some, some brand ambassadors, probably Akshay Kumar, Shah Rukh Khan. I'm not sure who did they, they hire as a brand ambassador. They probably might have, hired someone for marketing because they had marketing, huge boards, billboards, etc. And they created demand. People started seeing ads on this, and they see that okay, it's a mango thing. People love
yes,
mango. Indians, as in like from Jammu Kashmir to Kanyakumari and Gujarat to Arunachal Pradesh, we all love mangoes. They created Rasna as a mango ka thing, mango ka juice, or just add mango ka juice into water, etc. They created out of it, and they say it as a Rasna, Ras, and it's a Rasna. It's an Indian, just to resemble with the Indian name Rasna, and they marketed it. So whenever we go out and they just try to add it as an Indian flavor, and that is just a branding and the marketing. And in terms of distribution from the factory to the remotest area, you'll see Rasna packs and people buying out and people reaching out to Rasna, and they're just having it as a different alternative to Pepsi, or because Pepsi comes as an unhealthy segment. I'm not saying it's an unhealthy. People who might think as an unhealthy. So Rasna is something as an healthy alternative because it's made up of mango. People using the Rasna, and it's just a market developed for that. So initially they created the market, they branded it, they marketed it, and the consumers they solve the consumer problem. If there's any issue with the taste, I'm sure there must have been multiple research. I'm just tried in simplified way. I just try to segmented your my answers into segmentations. Hope did I answer?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
And sir, if for example we are a startup that we are targeting a new sector that has not been targeted before, so should our approach be something like Rasna, like creating the demand and then market?
Again, Anup, it depends on the research side. What did your research say? Did your
Yes.
research say, okay, I mean, this product could work very jolly well in Indian market? Okay, if your research says yes, again, your research might have multiple conclusions. This product might work in the central part of India, southern part of India, northern part of India. Yes, because of the seasonal thing, your product is something that is relevant to the seasonal thing. Like, okay, this is in southern part of India. There's heat, and the temperatures are higher. You have something, Naril Pani. You have branded it. Naril Pani is something. Naril Pani. It has been there since forever. Right, and you just branding it, people, because it depends on the middle class is increasing, people have the buying power, purchasing power are good enough, people can buy 10 rupees, 20 rupees, 30 rupees, 40 rupees, or a number of rupees you want to keep it as your margin, etc., or brand. You make a good brand out of it. You can just price it accordingly, premium. That's why I'm saying the premium. There's a lot of research going into this, so you have to strictly do the research from multiple perspectives. Right. So once your research says, okay, from the money side, okay, this, okay, from the consumer side, okay, consumers are happy to pay this. From the branding side, should I make a premium brand or not so premium brand? Okay, if there's a not so premium brand, pricing would be 10 rupees. If there's a premium brand, okay, let's keep the price as 80 rupees, 100 rupees, for an example. It's your overall research where you want to go in, or in what market you want to serve in.
Yes, sir.
I think it's 1:10. So shall we conclude the webinar?
Sir, if you can take more questions, we can. If attendees have any questions, please you can post in the chat box. So, sir, I have a question of my own. If you would like to answer. So, sir, you explained us on all aspects of company formation, but there is one problem in our society, that there is a pushback from our society on starting a business. So how do we, as aspirants, convince our society and our relatives who are against us? Do you have any suggestion on that?
Yeah, I mean, I got where you're coming from, Naveen. So you saying, just to reframe your question, you saying that uh, parents, relatives, probably friends, they might say, "Arey, yaar, what you are in startup, etc. Man, like it's very hard journey. What you'll do startup, man? Like, are you mad, man? Who will invest, and future is not secure, etc. I mean, a number of things. So parents would say and relatives would say. But it's your determination. If again, I would back to research. If your research is clear, you are clear. Absolutely, you are wonderful at your research, and you have your handmade things are ready. If your determination is profound and it's very clear, just go ahead. For example, if I would say that For example, okay, you are doing engineering. Okay, I'm just taking example. If someone's parents say that don't take engineering, just go into commerce. So it would be because you were sure that you wanted to go into engineering. That was your interest, and you would be interested in pursuing engineering, studying maths, science, etc., physics, and those kind of subjects. So your determination was clear, and that's why you are here and you are excelling. So it goes in similar way. I mean that. I mean the journey would be hard for sure. You have to be determined that if you are not clear, it's just that as a part of trend you want to be, you want to just make your own startup, etc. Then again, I would say that you would need to review your thoughts that okay, just for you want to see how startup works, or you're not sure. But again, it's okay. I mean, you should have your plan B also again at the same time. On the practicality side, I'm not saying that jump into it and don't think of any else, etc. And just try doing for 1 year, 2 year, or n number of months, or whatever the time frame it allows for you. So you can just sort of try doing things, and if you think you will succeed, you can do things, and you will come out of the struggle of creating a startup or having traction of it, so that you think that you can scale it up further, and then you just keep going. And if you think that no, then you can take the hard decision of shutting it down. You also shouldn't, having said that, you shouldn't shy it away from don't stick to your idea or to your ego. No, I'll make it successful, etc. If you think that no, I mean it's not something, that's not my cup of tea, then you can you should always have a plan B of you getting into a job or what else, etc. Whatever you might have think, father's business or etc. Then you should always have a plan B in your mind. Then if this doesn't work, then you should be doing that, or you should be doing this, so that you are clear. I mean, you are clear what I'm trying to say is all that. So it's all your
Yeah.
determination. It's all your determination. There's nothing like that. You cannot. It's just that you see. Yeah, I mean, with your parents, you can talk freely. That mom, dad, I want to do this, that. I'm sure after once you have spoken to them, it's not something they'll take danda and they'll be after you. Of course, not. They won't do that. But yeah, I mean, friends, of course, they are friends of friends. Relatives again, they probably make fun of you or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Then it's your determination. It's your determination. Parents, of course, they'll not make fun of you. They'll always support you. So that is all your determination. That's it.
So,
don't
sir,
think
I'll
much of it.
be a little more specific. In some cases, with engineering students, especially, sir, people want to start businesses, but the problem is that their own family is against. They are like, you should focus on studies, and we totally agree with it. And so, due to that, we cannot even get a GST number. That is also, sir. So we want to register a business, but we can't even do that. Because we don't have a registered address, obviously, and if we don't, our parents don't agree with us, it's impossible to start up.
I mean, I have an idea, but I don't know if your parents are against. Probably this advice may not be go well. So
Go
talk
ahead,
to your
sir.
parents. Talk to your parents, or probably in private you can contact me. I can advise you, but in general thing, probably let's just move forward from that. Yeah.
So, sir, I just have one more question.
Yeah.
Sir, can you give me one advice or something that I can do on daily basis? That, for example, we are in second year, third year of BTech. So, what one thing, for example, like reading 5 pages of something newspaper, or for example, watching the case studies of successful, or some few things that we can do every single day, and that will give us a huge benefit in long run. Like after 2-3 years, we will find out that for we did it every day, and at the end of the day, we are getting the benefit. So it's like watching case studies, or for example, reading biographies or something like that. We can do it every day. You don't have to have some special account, or you don't have to pay a lot of money to buy some courses or something like that.
Anup, in this case, I would say again, it's something what you mentioned is research. Seeing case studies again. I'll go back to research. That would be a part of your research. That would be you would be doing it. Once you are determined, once you are passionate, you'll be doing it on your own. I don't have to say that you do this or you do that. Reading newspaper is something you do always. It's not just for started. You read newspapers. For books again, yeah, for something as specific, if you want to read, you have an idea that would come under your part of research that you already be doing it. So there's nothing. I mean, that comes from within. To be honest, there's nothing I can advise you.
No, sir,
Because
it's like a,
I get your point because it's not an exam, to be honest. For exam, you can do that. You study this, you study that material, that notes, that website, or whatever. For startup, this it's come from within. To be honest, all I can advise is whatever idea you have, just start reading more on that idea because start gaining more knowledge on that idea. What I can advise you.
yes.
So, guys, I think it's 1:18. So, can we just conclude now so that, if there's any questions, of course, you can reach out to me on email or, my probably email or probably on social media, etc., on Insta. Yeah, we can always be in touch. So, if you can do that because it's 1:18 and, I have to be in bit
Yes,
rush.
sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just 1 second, sir.
Mhm.
I'll post the feedback link.
Mhm. Was it of any use? I mean, did you all enjoy your this session? I mean,
Yes, sir.
was it any of use?
Yes, sir, it was very informative.
So it was amazing
Yes,
and engaging. Thank you
yes,
for
sir.
answering the questions.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So I would like to inform all attendees
Thank you,
that
sir.
the feedback form has been shared in the chat box. And so now finally our session ends. And I would like to thank you, sir. We are extremely grateful for the priceless knowledge you have shared with us today. I would also like to thank all attendees and the college faculty for such an engaging session. I am sure that we all gained great clarity, and I am absolutely certain that our students, being the future, will surely apply the knowledge received today. And we will also remember your contribution always to our journey. So, thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. And one thing I would add, Naveen, I inadvertently skipped in beginning of my starting. My sincere regards to the professors and the faculties because I didn't know that faculties were part of this session. So my sincere regards to the faculties and professors. So I inadvertently skipped in the beginning of my session. So thank you everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Hello, Dipankar.
Yeah.
One last thing, we'd just like to take a screenshot of the meet. If our participants or the organizers can just switch on the video.
Yeah.
So, everyone, can you please turn on your cameras?
With the screenshots be taken.
Yes, the screenshot has been taken. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hope you all have a wonderful startup journey ahead of you.
Yes, thank you, sir. Do check out Dipankar sir's blog. All right.
And podcasts as well.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Bye.
And we wish you all the best for all your future ventures as well.
Thank you, everyone.
So everyone, the link for the next sessions will be shared on your WhatsApp group. So please join, and the next session will start at 1:30.
Thank you very much.